Arrowfield's John Massara likes to think outside the square when it comes to his business and the evolution of his scone stud.
He was one of the first in the country to recognise Japan was rising as a breeding and racing nation. In fact, he has the first in the world to ship broodmares to Japan during the breeding seasons in the Southern Hemisphere. And John assures me that there is method to his madness. So I sat down with John Massara to talk about his long interest in Japanese racehorses, his partner with the Yoshida family, and why he believes that the Japanese are the next wave here on Australian soil. John, 40 years ago, essentially racing in Japan was the unknown. What struck your interest?
Japan has reached out to the rest of the world and gone out and bought the best bloodlines available. And they've struck one or two very good horses as a result. It all started with a horse called Sunday Silence and then Northern Taste. And then subsequent to that, Sunday Silence had a great son, Deep Impact, which virtually revolutionised Japanese racing.
The Yoshida family, they said they were not surprised when you reached out to them.
I could see the Japanese emerging, and the Yoshidas have been amazingly successful. Three brothers following their great father, who established the stud in the first place, Shadow Stallion Station. And those three brothers have built up virtually an empire there. I began to cast my eye on Japan, 15 or 20 years ago, and since then we've done a lot with them, and currently we stand three Japanese champions. Real Impact, Mickey Isle, Real Steel. These are all horses that had zing. They're milers, sprinter milers, and we took the view that if Deep Impact was going to work in Australia, they needed to have a bit of zing, and so we went for those faster horses. And they're the ones that we're testing now. We're still to see the result of that. So I'm excited about seeing just how the produce does run. And then finally what we did was we went and secured the Usain Bolt of Japanese racing, Morris. Morris was the horse of the year in Japan. And he's just a physical and mental monster. He won 6 Group 1s, 3 of them were in Hong Kong against, international competition, and he did it so compellingly that even though he wasn't a son of Deep Impact, I thought he deserved to have a go at a few of our Australian mares, and we've got some lovely foals by him. So there's a lot to come out of this Japanese experiment.
The first Japan Cup was in 1981. For the first 11 years, Japan had only 2 winners. Do you think over the course of that decade it really forged the determination for the Japanese to improve and to become the best?
No question. No question. And if you ask people in Japan in the know, they'll tell you exactly that. They were unable to win their own great race, and they couldn't believe that was the case, and that made them realise that they were below the average, and they really had to lift. And then there was this determination, and they've acquired so many quality mares and also some quality stallions, and they've completely rejuvenated the industry.
The Japanese aren't known for their natural horsemanship, but what they do have is the science and the innovation and the technology. Just how advanced are they in those terms?
I think Japanese racing, as a result of the sports science that they've adopted, the trainers do a lot more research on the blood gases, etc. of their horses. The facilities they have, they've got facilities undercover, amazing facilities undercover. The quality of brood mares they've acquired over the years, and then the stallions, as I mentioned earlier, I think they've elevated their industry to the very top of the tree.
So what would your message be to those sitting at home studying the bloodlines? Is it a case of keep an open mind?
I'd keep an open mind, and if they have mares with strains of Danehill in them, which a lot of the mares in Australia do, I'd certainly consider using the Japanese horses that we have. I think they could get a surprise with the result. Remember this, when I brought Danehill to Australia in 1989, he could only muster 76 mares. That's all. People said, oh, well, you know, who knows? He went on to win 9 stallion premierships.
Well, thank you very much, John Massara, for joining us here at the beautiful Sokyo restaurant at the Star for this week's edition of Racing Dreams, the Everest. I believe we've got a little farewell present coming in here now from the head chef here. Good afternoon, Chase. What have we got for us?
Thank you for coming. This is our signature sashimi dish, seared tuna with caramelized aioli, some smoked ponzu, and then our spring vegetables.
Delicious. Thank you. I tell you what, Timmy G is going to be very disappointed that he's missed out on this one.